Daily Wire, yeah, it's the one and only Candace Owens joins me. Candace, welcome to GBN America.
What a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Not at all. Now, between our two countries over the centuries, we've exported many things to you and you've exported many things to us. And I always think when it comes to trends and food and all the things we do, America generally does things first and we do things second. But a recent export from the United Kingdom to America is a young couple.
Okay.
They were part of the royal family. They were their Royal Highnesses. They're now just the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And we've exported them, Candace, to you. And they're living happily on the west coast of America. And it would seem that after the quite shock cancer diagnosis of the King, that Harry only spent 24 hours in the country, a half-hour meeting.
Stop it.
With his dad, no reconciliation with his brother, and he's coming back to you in America. Are you pleased to see him return?
We are not pleased to see him return. We certainly were not pleased to see him here at all. I was very content with them being put in Canada, but I obviously knew that they would end up in LA because that was Meghan's dream. Her dream was to be an A-lister, and she was unable to make it to those A-list parties.
Wait for it.
On the basis of her own merit as an actress. You know, she wasn't a very good actress, and so she figured out how to maneuver that by marrying a prince who, the only way to say it is, he's just not as intelligent as her. He's not reading the situation as clearly as other people are reading it, and he has been subjected to her manipulation. And I do also want to say this because it's really important of why their story became so big. And
hey, y'all, come look at this.
You know, her using the Black Lives Matter movement, which was very big at that time before people started to understood that really what they were advocating for were Marxist principles. It's why she became the princess of BLM, because, you know, what's one of the biggest principles of Marxism?
Stop it.
The breakdown of family. Black Lives Matter on their charter stated that they wanted to deconstruct the nuclear family. Well, Meghan Markle wanted to deconstruct a family, right? And she was going to pretend that it was for something noble, racism. It wasn't so. It was really because she wanted fame and she wanted wealth. And, you know, I don't want to say that Prince Harry was an unwitting participant. I think he obviously is not as smart as her, but also he liked the fame and he liked the attention in a certain way as well. And we had a very, very, very sad circumstance that played out here. So I'm not entirely shocked that he didn't spend that much time with his father. I have not been holding my breath for them to unify as a family, because some of the things that were done, you know, quite literally selling your family for profit, it's unheard of. But it's a Marxist belief that there's something more noble. There's something that the state wants you to believe in that's more noble. And in that circumstance, it's racism must be fought.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
But in reality, what's buried underneath is a state incentive to make people disloyal to the people that they should be the most loyal to. So no sympathy for Prince Harry, but a lot of sympathy for King Charles.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult for the Queen to forgive him. It's very difficult for William and Kate to forgive him, given the awful things he wrote about them in that book, Spare. I guess if he was to apologise, then forgiveness might follow. And there were certainly some in this country, Candace, hoping for reconciliation.
Stop it.
But, you know, your thesis is that basically she's using him. She's using the fact that he's a British prince, and it's all about her. Now, what I'm interested in, is it just about money? Because they appear to have been paid a lot of money, in many cases for not producing very much content. Is it just about money and fame? Or do you think, Candace Owens, that somewhere within Meghan there are political ambitions?
Very good question.
I actually don't believe that there are any political ambitions there, mostly because she's simply not well liked, right? And she's not a very good actress. I saw right through it from the very beginning when she was pretending she was going to stay in the royal family.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I was the first commentator that said, this woman is going to make it back to Los Angeles. I just saw her coming. So she's not that shrewd. And unfortunately, right now, that sort of politicking is not finding a home in America. We don't want bad faith actors. We don't want a bunch of people that are going to opine about racism and sexism and misogyny. We want people that are being honest about the fact that we have a lot of issues in this country and we're not going to beat them by hating one another. And so she's not a perfect fit. Like I said, she caught a moment and there was very much a government incentive to cause so much division with BLM, but she's not going to run in politics. She's very happy where she is in a multi-million-dollar mansion, lunching with Oprah. That was her dream, and she got it.
No, you may be right. I mean, I must admit, I'd always thought there was a political ambition, but maybe you're right. And yet, you know, when it comes to whichever company they work with, Netflix, whoever it is, they've been paid all these large sums of money to produce little content or a load of rubbish. At what point does Los Angeles wake up and say, you know,
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
what? These guys are no good.
I think that's starting to happen now. I mean, the executive over at Spotify pretty much said that these are a bunch of lazy people with bad ideas that feel entitled to money. It's the ultimate entitlement is what you're taking a look at. And I don't know if any person listening to this program actually took the time to listen to the podcast that she produced on Spotify. I did. It was a source of great humor for me. And I played some of those tidbits on the show. It's weird. It's raspy. It's her talking about her dreams, talking about, you know, the patriarchy and feminism and just all of the buzzwords that get you invited to the right parties in LA. But there's no substance behind it. And as I said, the reason why it failed is because people want authenticity. And unfortunately, they aren't getting that from this couple anymore. So they're just going to keep being shuffled from award show to award show, given awards for basically doing absolutely nothing but acquiescing to a government narrative. It's quite pathetic, and it's sad because Harry was so well liked. You know, he was kind of like the bad boy prince. People liked him because he seemed so authentic, and now
he was loved.
He really was.
Yeah,
he was. I loved him.
He was the good looking. He was good-looking. He was...
Oh, my God!
Was charming. He did his tours in Afghanistan. He was in the front line. He was fun. He had lots of pretty girlfriends. He'd go down to the pub. He'd do things he'd do things, Candace, that most young lads... Are you serious? Either do or would like to do. I think, actually, and I remember asking my daughters when they were teenagers, early teenagers, what they thought of the royal family. And they both said, oh, the royal family, it's so cool.
Oh, my God!
Now, I'd never thought of the royal family as cool, but Harry did make it cool, didn't he?
He did make it cool. And then all of that went away and he became very whiny, and he went the way of what we call modern psychotherapy, where therapists sit across from you and tell you that every little thing that ever happened to you makes you a special victim. And no matter how horrendous you act, once you receive that status of victimhood, everyone must understand. And that was the thing for me that I thought was just so disgusting, was, utilizing Princess Diana, someone who was very well loved in America, and pretending that you were speaking for her from the grave, which is something that Meghan Markle did. This Freudian transfer of I'm now Princess Diana and I must be saved.
What is he doing?
It's sickening and manipulative. And her reasons for doing that was she thought that it would reserve her as untouchable, as if any person with a brain believes that what Princess Diana would have wanted was,
Wait for it.
for her two sons not to be speaking. What Princess Diana would have wanted was for her granddaughter, Charlotte, to be placed in a book for millions of dollars, right? She threw a temper tantrum and upset Meghan, and Meghan cried in the heap on the floor. It's just written in spare, throwing your niece under the bus. Let's just dissolve that illusion that Princess Diana would have been okay with that, because she would not have been okay with any of that.
No, of course not. No, of course not. Of course not.
Hoping to hold North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and hopefully, I don't hope this is what they're thinking, that they can take Nevada, so that it comes to a very, very tight race where Pennsylvania is the deciding. And
it's so true. Yeah. They call it the blue wall. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say they call it the blue wall because Pennsylvania has hung with Michigan and Wisconsin since 1992, including when Trump won in 2016, and they are really looking to peel off one of those. And if they can, and Pennsylvania's right now the closest for Trump in the polls. And if you do the numbers, if he wins Pennsylvania, she has theoretical ways to win, but man, it's way uphill. On the other hand, if she holds the blue wall, and for sure, if she manages an upset victory in North Carolina, he's
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
it's all over but the shouting. Of course, he'll do a lot of shouting.
Right, but see, I mean, I'm thinking that their strategy may even be, look, even if she wins by a smaller margin than, say, Biden did, and it's 40,000 votes,
Okay.
Yeah,
or 50,000 votes, I think they're thinking, look at what we were able to do when we lost all of these swing states,
right.
And we lost all of them, and look what we established there. Fact. So then they go in with their cockamamie theories about this voter and this scheme and this county. And you notice they're already saying that. Look at this person in Bucks County. They did this. Right. Look at this person here. So they're setting the contours.
Are you serious?
For targeting hard Pennsylvania. But like the reason that Harry and I say this is to also let you know that if Harry and I know this, one, perhaps others
That doesn't make sense.
don't, and we're getting the message out. But the reality is that knowledge is power. And so when you are trying to diagnose the ailment, it's best not to ignore the symptoms and let them get progressively worse.
What?
Yeah.
It is important to go, okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Here's what we do. Here's what we do. And that's the exercise we all just engaged in by our analysis of that Supreme Court ruling. So
Wait for it.
I ask all of you, if you like this analysis, go subscribe to the Talking Feds YouTube channel. It's simple. Subscribe now. Let's get the Talking Feds YouTube channel 500,000 subscribers. Let's get them there.
Okay.
Harry, you and I will be chatting, I'm sure, after the election. I have a feeling that regardless of the positivity I feel about the election, Trump's going to be filing a lot of
There'll
crap.
be a thing or two to discuss. I would
There's going
imagine.
to be I think
Stop it.
these channels progress very on the legal side after,
Right.
as well, with all of the shenanigans that are going to be pulled. But I believe law and order will prevail. Democracy is going to prevail. But do your work, everybody, for real.
What is he doing?
Actually have the opportunity to be the difference maker. Help someone go to the polls, drive somebody, do whatever, do your part, and that's all you can do. So we leave it all there on the field. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Thanks, Harry.